Live without the top screen. There we go. Oh my god. Why isn't that working? Hey, there it's working. Almost, maybe. Cool.
Maybe? Oh no.
Possibly.
Oh, what the fuck?
I fixed it.
Tomorrow.
I fixed it. I fixed it.
Oh, there we go.
I fixed
Are we
it.
all in the right place? Yes.
Yes.
You
I
are
made
so
sure
sorry,
of
Alvin.
that
Are you, though?
before we started.
Yeah. I am darkness. I am death.
He's actually not too bad on the stream. Oh no, he's never mind. Now he's super dark.
No, there goes.
Yeah, I'm actually. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the light on that I turned off earlier because apparently I was right with the levels. So be right back.
I am
I think
walking
the difference
out.
was something on your
Eyesore.
screen. Hey, he's taking his headset off.
You're gonna take your headset off?
No, he took it.
Sorry.
I think the
Oh.
difference was something on your screen because it looked like the screen turned off and then you went super dark.
Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another
Rock on,
episode of
Yes.
Madness of the Land. So once again, joining me, of course, is Tesh, Rachael, Dro, Tiv, and Winter as we continue our D&D adventures. Why don't we have everybody do a quick introduction to their characters as we sort of normally do to start everything out with. Tesh.
Hi, I'm a Dragonborn Paladin sort of thing.
All right, that's perfect.
You're a thing.
Sort of thing.
Sort of thing.
Rachael.
I'm playing Grits. I'm the Dwarven monk who is the fastest dwarf you've ever seen.
I mean, it's true.
Gotta-
It's true.
Yep.
You are level 3 yet, so that's
We are
correct.
level 3.
Hold on.
Gotta put it in chat. Officiate it.
Joe.
I'm Rufus. I'm a halfling rogue, and I practice on sheep.
Yep. I mean, that says
You're
it all.
too proud of that, honestly.
Yeah.
Are we level 3 yet? Yup. Alright. Tim.
Red,
You know what to do.
worship someone. Probably not should worship, but me worship.
Red, definitely not dead.
Red not dead.
Red,
Red
not
not
dead.
dead. Yes.
Better red than dead.
Red has a head.
That says only level 3 yet, no level 4.
You can do this. You can do this.
Almost.
Look,
Almost, buddy.
it's been a long day.
It's about to get even longer. buddy.
Winter.
Bitch, you woke up and then napped.
Yes, exactly. Long day. I'm playing Tim. Tim's a high elf wizard who, yeah. Mad man with a plan, man.
Mhm.
Mad dad plan.
Mad dad plan now.
Yeah.
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 There you go. A mad dad with a mad plan, man.
All right,
Oh my
and
goodness.
where we last left off in last week, they finished exploring the strange ruins underground as far as they could. They ran into a couple of things which looked like they needed some assistance from town for work with. They were going to be working on some of those things, but they were contacted by Gavin Malk, the captain of the guards, who's like, "Hey, it seems as though there's some kind of activity occurring with savage ones in their forest around this campsite that we kind of have heard about. Can you check it out? See what they're doing. They might be organizing war against us, and that'll be bad." So,
Or fun.
or fun. So they
War has been declared.
war were declared. They headed off that way and ran into an ambush, and yep, the ambush did some damage, but they managed to survive, and they feel wiser and probably slightly more powerful having accomplished this task.
More specialized.
Yes, more specialized.
More bamf.
More
More
bad.
bam for your buck.
The best part is my character actually does just randomly feel better and is like, I don't understand. Like, that's part of his thing, is he's getting these abilities and he doesn't understand what's going on. So he's just like,
It's fine. The dark, the dark energy's flowing through you. Let the hate flow through you.
Oh my. Okay.
My lines, man.
Excellent.
Stealing
Is
my
it
lines.
Haterade?
Haterade. All right, so you just completed a long rest in a tree, recovering from the horrible injuries. What is your
I
current
checked my
plan
traps.
now? One of them has a very large tick in it, like a
I'm
cat-sized
gonna make a
tick.
perception.
Is it alive?
Sure. It's a tick. It's hard to kill.
I'm gonna make a perception
very
check
stuck.
around while in the tree.
I want my trap back. Just gonna poke at it till it's dead.
You could probably do that. It is very trapped in there. You just like,
Alright.
ugh.
Right?
It's got like its gnashy, like.
Are we gonna address the nat 20 perception check that Rufus
What
just
just
did?
happened? Holy shit!
Yeah. Rufus will take a look around and basically get an idea of where all the kind of animals are in the nearby area. You don't see any sign of any kind of savage ones. You do see a couple of various animals that you could easily avoid then. And some dangers, probably, that you wouldn't run into.
Yay!
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 And there
I
was
wanna
much
look at the cat
rejoicing.
Hey guys, I found something.
What is that?
Great!
There's like a cat-sized tick in one of his traps.
And what do you want to do with that, Nokren?
I don't know. And I pop open the trap, like you fall on the ground in front of us, and then start packing up the trap.
That's a lot
how
of
dead
blood.
is it?
Oh, it's dead. I
Okay.
like poked it to death a ton.
Yeah, he poked it to death a ton before he released it.
Meanwhile, Red has made tea for him and Tim.
Out of tick juice?
No, why would he do that?
Thank you.
That's just crazy.
This is crazy talk.
Knocker sees this. Knocker is literally just gonna stop and just sort of.
Red looks at you, giving him the weird look.
I see Red like sip at it with his pinky out. Then
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see Knocker just sort of do a. And then go back to what he was doing.
This is very good. He's of course saying this in Orcish, because respect for the man who made you tea.
we'll be right back. I forgot the map to this because apparently I didn't grab that when I grabbed everything from downstairs. Talk amongst yourselves.
After these messages, he'll be
You
It's all
right
gonna
back.
Okay.
the
So we
lobby.
should all level up to level 4 before he gets
Yeah,
back.
hold on. Let me change the thing. Edit com level 4.
Here, let me bring my strength up to 18.
Are we
Holy
level
fuck.
4 yet?
Who wants to be lucky like a halfling?
Absolutely. Definitely
Or I could
nothing
grab Great Weapon
suspicious
Fighter,
here.
take -5 to my hit, keep rolling with advantage, and do 10 extra damage.
There we go.
And I can make you lucky.
You know, when Panta said there'd be maps for this one, I expected roll 20.
Digital?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay.
All right, let's see.
Nothing
So,
shady.
congratulations, everybody, on level 4. We did great work
Yeah,
there.
good job.
All of a sudden, you all lose a level. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah. Well, back to level 3, I suppose.
Shit, are we back in 2nd edition?
Yeah.
Wait, I was level 5.
Well,
Yeah, I guess
you-
we're level 4 now.
You lost 2 levels then.
Ah, dang.
All right.
This isn't Munchkin.
Maybe now it
Get
is.
down the door.
Giving me ideas.
Oh no.
I kicked out a piece of grass. What's behind it?
More grass. And a very dead
Yes!
giant tick.
So, we should consider getting moving. We are, after all, here to scout. Now, Rufus, what did your halfling eyes see?
Many animals.
You
I
also
know
did
a good
see.
path.
You did see a path leading into the forest since you were nearby there. It's sort of like you noticed it from the angle up in the tree that you don't think you would have noticed is easier from the grass. It looks as if there's at least maybe some kind of game trail, maybe a path, like a trail of some kind. It's hard to tell if it's just game or used by the savage ones.
How will we relay that?
Well, it's pretty much the only lead we have right now.
We may want to see about maybe traveling off the trail but nearby it.
That's not a bad idea. I like that.
I also like that idea, except for the fact that we have some very loud people with us. Specifically me.
Well, I'm the loudest. I'll stay at the back.
We may want you to scout ahead a little bit, Rufus. Are you comfortable doing that?
I'm fine with that.
I could also assist scouting. I'm pretty quiet.
Red.
Yeah,
No.
I'm super loud right now. I have my plate now, and I'm carrying the armor of those dead soldiers.
Right. Yeah.
He's got that
Very
armor
loud.
that jingle, jangle, jingle.
Yep.
Yep.
That is me right now. 100%.
I mean, I have a +2 to my stuff, so I'm not bad. I'm just not trained.
I just gotta hang at the back. I got +1, so, but I got.
But you have disadvantage.
You're not a Rufus who has +7.
No, you go first. I stay back, and hopefully you're so stealthy, it just sort of trickles over.
I create an air of silence around me.
It's a shame no one has this spell that I've heard of. Pass without trace.
Pass without a trace. That's a great
Yeah.
spell.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will lead the way.
Absolutely.
Whoever is making stealth, please go ahead and do so.
I think
I will.
you two are
Everyone's
going,
making
going ahead quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
with. I'll stick next to
Okay,
Rufus.
yeah.
Just.
We're
so-
waiting for you to tell us it's clear. So
Yeah.
we're only going to be moving it.
Oh,
Oh no!
Okay.
I'm not so good.
I put a hand on your
Oh,
gun.
no.
Wait,
I mean,
wait,
I think
Red.
we should also be moving stealthily.
Yeah, I guess.
To
I'll
be
roll
fair,
down.
the fact that Red rolled better than Grits.
Oh no!
Oh, it was so close to being okay.
It's so close to being
Where's
okay.
my 3D dice?
The fact that Nokren and Red rolled better than Grits.
Yeah, that's a bit of a concern. I think we all know what happened there.
You're
She was
half
still-
our size.
She was stepping on
I
all
also
the
move pretty
twigs.
fast.
That's what happened there.
It's also
I was
dry.
trying to break them for you guys so that you wouldn't have to break them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yep.
trying to make them break them quietly.
She's still getting used to the whole being drunk constantly thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
it's gonna be Rufus and Grits that are a little farther ahead.
I put
Yeah.
a hand on her and said, maybe you should wait.
I mean, you're. This is like after you're doing it.
We'd already
so
walked up.
You can't really like.
Yeah,
You're
we
already
can't
doing it.
wreck on that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait here then. I'll continue.
But you can't stop her, unfortunately, Rufus.
Yeah.
You can't. You
She
can't get rid
is
of her roll.
tripped and she's rolling forward. There's nothing we can do. She's breaking
I'm
every
already gonna
branch in a
stumble.
20-foot radius.
After a little while, you could reassure her, but you're going to have to enjoy a little bit of time of 6 up with
Crunch. Crunch.
Uh-huh.
Crunch.
you.
I think I'm being stealthy.
Initially, as you move forward, the trail itself winds through the forest for a little bit. It does seem to be a well-established trail of something, but it's kind of impossible to tell, as it is used most likely by at least some kind of game, if not other things, what it would actually be, everything that uses it.
Could I take a second and try to do a survival to see
Sure,
if I can
it'd
determine any tracks?
if you're looking for a specific type of track, give me disadvantage. Otherwise, it will be quite difficult.
Well, he's kind of looking at the tracks. Can I just perception around to
take
see?
Okay.
That was almost good.
Well, it's
It
not
was
too bad.
almost good. It was
You-
almost
You
way
take a look
worse,
around,
but-
and you think you might see some Savage One tracks here and there, but not enough to tell you that this is a normally walked trail, and maybe not just a party pass through here on a game trail kind of thing.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Is there any indication as to where this trail is going as far as our knowledge of the area already?
It seems to, generally speaking, head deeper into this forest and closer to the area that you want to go. Now, the thing about this forest is you do notice a few things about it's much different than the previous forest that you traveled within. The last one that you were exploring was a much more tangled mess. This forest here is a lot more open. The trees are a little more spread out. You do have a lot of underbrush. Think of it almost like a traditional just well forest people could like walk through or travel through. You'd think in like our normal lives, kind
Like
of
a
thing.
Pacific Northwest forest. In
Yeah.
terms of trees being spread out, maybe a few on the ground here and there. But
Mhm.
like, all right. So like,
No
there's
fire.
no
don't
fire
show
and
fire.
and none of the there are very few very large trees. Also, most of the trees are yeah, that's what you're right. I would call it definitely like a medium density forest. So the shade is quite light. The undergrowth itself is still like a thick undergrowth, so it slows you down. But it's like just a lot of bushes and stuff that you kind of can pass through. So,
Yeah. Giant grass field plus fire.
Yeah.
Interesting.
the
actually.
grass,
Well,
fortunately, in the field that you've been passing through is quite alive and not very, flammable
Flammable.
easily. So,
But if enough embers land in there, eventually something's gonna catch.
yes.
And when a fire is directly hitting it,
And
it's
magic
gonna-
fire is instantaneous and doesn't normally start fires.
That's true.
Thank you for magic fire.
Yes.
Yes.
hmm
We'll be like,
Unless you purposefully target it. There are certain spells. That
There
do.
are certain spells that will cause problems, but
I have them.
Yeah, you don't want to cause problems.
No, I will be carefully avoiding causing problems.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm at
Probably.
the back of the group, just sort of trying to tread carefully and just clang.
I'm probably ahead of both.
Clang.
Ren
The thing
and
is-
Nokren.
The thing is, the only people that realize that they're actually like the other people are being loud are probably the two people that actually rolled a little better on their stealth. Everyone
Yeah,
else
yep.
thinks they're all being as
How?
stealthy, because the stealth they're going at is the stealth as everybody else. So they're like, yeah, we're being really quiet.
how Red's handling this is he's actually chopping down some of the brush as he's going through it, and his logic is, if it's not in the way, I can be quiet.
That's,
Yeah,
that's,
okay.
that's great logic.
And that is red for you right there. Oh man. Okay.
All right, you'll kind of bushwhack your way through the forest for quite some time, and you occasionally like hear some strange noises and things. It seems that this place, as safe as it seems, you still will hear occasional Rufus, you will hear like the howl of a pack of wolves out in the distance at one point in time.
When I hear that, I am going to pull out my grappling hook and try to see if I can kind of get to a higher vantage point of one of the trees.
I mean, you can get up into one of the trees, but unfortunately it's still like a canopy, so it'd be like getting up into a canopy. And it's still a forest, so it probably won't give you much of an extra view with something that's on ground level.
It's still not a bad idea to try to see.
Sure, give me-
If I see any tree that's particularly tall, I will try.
Give me a perception on that one.
Oh, another net 20.
It's could have been worse.
Not bad.
You find a couple. Most of the trees seem to be about the same size. You don't really seem to notice any ones that particularly stand out as massively bigger than the rest. Though you do notice something, like, as you're walking along, look at this, you manage to step back as some kind of, like, hissing snake kind of snaps a little bit as you're, like, with fangs braring, and you're like, oh, avoid that.
Good snake.
Good, probably poisonous snaky that you were going to step on.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do we see anything of interest or any like points along this path that are like leading us anywhere in particular apart from the path itself? Like, are there any variants? Are there any ways that people have like snuck off to the sides, perhaps?
The path itself seems pretty. The trail itself seems pretty straightforward. This trail here, you do occasionally see areas that might be other trails, but they're not as well worn, I would say. So it's like you were on a major trail / game trail that seems to lead into the forest, while, you know...
Other ones might be small animal trails.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're out of the grass now, right?
Yes, you're in the forest
okay.
now.
Yeah. Now I think I am gonna have a look at that trail and see if I can discern what's going on with it.
Sure, go ahead.
So survival.
Yes. Disadvantage if you're looking for a certain track, like if you're looking for Savage One tracks, or it would just be a high DC if you're just looking at it for general. Okay.
Oh no!
It was almost okay.
Yeah.
You spot one of your own tracks.
Well, you like look at it, and the unfortunate thing is, like, as you're investigating it, you're like, you can't really tell a lot of different tracks between it. This is like too well worn between a lot of different things using it.
What did the Savage One's feet look like again?
You spot a Rufus track.
Kind of. I mean, they've got generally humanoid. They've got.
That was me kidding.
Oh yeah,
That was me like, I rolled so bad I forget what their feet look like.
It's like, what kind of trail was I looking for?
How many toes did they have?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
I think it was 34.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Should
That
we
makes sense.
just continue? Try it, maybe be a little bit stealthier as we go forward. Tim says very loudly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how loud you saying that, buddy?
I don't know.
Let's do this.
Are we able to roll stealth again, or are we using the same
you will have an opportunity to re-roll stealth, but for this one, I'm just keeping your checks for this kind of exploration.
Okay.
You'll push on forward for maybe another couple of hours, leading on into the day. So now you've been going for... The trail does make it a lot quicker than like when you're kind of like pushing through tall grass and stuff like that. So you think you've gotten quite a few miles into this. You've actually been able to make a pretty good pace of travel here. And Rufus, as you're kind of seeing ahead, you see an area that seems to open up ahead of you. As the trail seems to kind of open up into like a clearing of some kind.
I'm gonna put up a hand. Signal everyone to stop.
Okay. Yeah.
Here we
What's in the clearing?
go.
Half the guys see.
I'm gonna say, everyone wait. And I'm going to try to skirt around the clearing. And
The clearing-
see what I can...
The clearing, the way that I would describe it, seems massive. What it is it seems to be a large area where there are still lots of trees spread out, but a lot of the ground brush has been cleared out in like large swaths.
Okay, at the very least, I want to get off the trail and more into the woods, and then approach.
Okay.
So it's not as obvious as someone going,
Yeah.
"Hey!"
You're gonna kind of move up that area. You can roll me another stealth now.
Okay.
All of us? Or...
Just in
We're
for
staying
now.
put.
Yeah, you guys are kind of waiting, so just in for now. You'll kind of move up, and you'll see what looks to be some kind of campsite of some kind. There's
I'm
sort of
gonna
like
just-
there's kind of like a tent here next to the campsite. There's a
Just
fire which is currently burning.
I'm gonna wait a few minutes just to see if there's like any activity, anyone moving around.
All right. Let me just roll something here because I should.
Let me just roll your death. See
Okay.
what it is.
After a few minutes, you'll see this kind of like something that seems odd to you. It almost looks as like a cross between a halfling and a savage one. Kind of wanders out from the tent. It's covered in kind of strange, like, little, like, bones and stuff hanging down from it. It's kind of walking with, like, a staff. It's, like, as big as you, though, is what the thing is. It kind of, like, just kind of moves over to the fire, kind of tends it for a little bit. Seems to say something in some kind of language, and then moves back into the tent.
Once it goes back in, I'm going to head back to the group.
Okay.
You want me to roll another stealth for that
No, we'll
too?
keep the
or
same.
no?
Keep the same.
Okay.
Okay.
I saw Savage Yoda.
Savage
say
what
yoga.
now? What is that?
It looked like a savage one my size.
You
the-
Yoda?
The place was like filled with all kinds of strange, like bone, like maybe fetishes and stuff hanging from various little things, and like kind of like sticks kind of hanging up, small little like wooden structures with little things on them, and then it was like kind of open tent that it was kind of like sitting in, that kind of like moved into out of sight from where you were.
I only saw one.
What else was
One
there?
camp or one? What are we
One
talking
savage
about?
small one.
Was there any kind of structure? What did we see? What kind
Tents.
of layout?
There was a lot of bones and weird sticks in the ground.
If we can avoid killing more than we have to, they'll be less likely to know we're here yet.
Or
Why?
kill all. Not have to worry again.
Why is there only one in this clearing? Is it a hunter? Is it a mage of some kind?
Can I do like a...
And Rufus, you did see that the clearing extends beyond this. You could see signs of like maybe other campsites nearby.
Okay.
As I said,
I
like
would-
there's still like undergrowth areas, but there's huge swaths that have been cleared of undergrowth, so it just has like the tree cover above it. And there are still areas where like here where trees have been cleared out of the way.
Living in the wilds as long as I did, can I do a check to see if I've encountered a shaman before or someone like that, a witch doctor or something?
You can just give me a straight
Some-
intelligence check to sound like it sounds like
Okay.
some kind of shaman or something. From the description of it.
Almost good. It was almost good.
Yeah, it was almost.
I mean, you've heard of shamans, but you're unsure if this one would be it because you
Yeah.
really haven't seen it
I
and the
wouldn't
way he
speak up
describes
if
it.
I was unsure.
Yeah.
So we know there's one. There could be more.
There could be many more. I haven't seen them. I only saw one moving around.
Probably more.
They don't
Probably.
exactly seem like creatures that hunt alone.
Could be a chieftain or something important enough to habitat.
Could be.
So kill.
Not
Red
necessarily.
encounter the one that was in the cell. It was much more powerful than the ones we encountered in the field.
Let's try harder.
It nearly killed Orn in one hit.
I was
Kill. Or in small.
Fair enough.
We should see if we can find out more information. Understanding just one is not enough to
I agree.
understand what we should do with the circumstance. Whether or not we're going to end up killing them is not necessarily what we were asked to do, though Commander Malik did suggest that if we can sabotage, that we should.
May I
He said
suggest
to
we keep on
sabotage
watch?
if they're making plans to attack, though.
Yeah.
True.
May I suggest we keep a wide berth with Rufus maybe sneaking in closer every now and then, just rather than getting too close. What with us being not the most stealthy compared to him.
I messed up one time, guys. Gosh.
They could hear you a mile away.
Which means they might already know that
That's true.
it's a clearing. So that's good news. means that we might be able to see them coming, unless they're all Rufus's size.
That's true.
Small army.
Now, here's the question. Didn't we think that, well, perhaps I didn't even talk about this, but these creatures were all large that we've seen so far. Not a single one was halfling-sized. Makes me question their origin, makes me question where they came from. Perhaps they, like us, were brought here. Perhaps this is their home. Perhaps this is what happens to creatures that stay in this place too long. Who knows?
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, let's hope we never find one that looks a bit more like you, Nokren, or like you, Red.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Perhaps
I mean,
others like my kind were here before, and there might have been forced breeding.
How
That's
tall
also
how tall are you, Rufus?
3'8".
Okay, so it is actually about your size. Like, it is about 3.5 feet tall. A better description of it is it was seemingly a little less hairy than the savage ones you saw, but it looked a little bit more beast-like in its features. Like, it had much more pronounced snout, you know, like bestial snout. You could actually see more of its actual skin, which you could see were covered in, like, all these kind of intricate tattoos.
Tattoos. Interesting.
You noticed on the other ones that in the places where they didn't have fur, they put a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
Almost as if, like, they're covering the skin with something.
Did he look any older, maybe?
It's really hard to tell. You don't really have an idea of how they look as age-wise. It looked maybe male, but again, like, you didn't get a very good view of it anyway.
I didn't get to sext it.
Little skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Learning that these creatures get angry when they're killed. I'd rather avoid causing them to go berserk. I'd also rather avoid killing them if we can, because there may be something we don't know yet as to why they're aggressive to them.
Also, if there's any left, that's just going to ensure an attack eventually.
Exactly. Rather not anger them more than we apparently already have.
I'm wondering why they are enemies.
If dead can't be angry,
But their people can.
Everything
That's
in this
true.
realm, other than in the one forest, seems to be
wonder-
rather aggressive. It might just be the nature of this place.
Could very well be.
That's true. And if that's the case, then we will respond accordingly. But until we know, I'd rather not kill needlessly.
Provoke it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then let's move around and see what else we can find in the clearing. If we can avoid this thing, we should avoid this thing.
As part of the, as I said, massive clearing that it is, Rufus saw 3 campsites nearby. If we're
Large or small?
probably about the same size. It's hard to tell. He only saw signs of them, basically, from afar. If we'll use sort of northeast, southwest. We'll say you're in the one from your location. There was one to the north, one to the west, and one to the northwest. The run to the northwest is pretty much towards a center clearing area. So you're not sure unless you go wide berth past the north one if you can get to it.
Okay.
And you're not sure because this is like seemingly the corner of the massive kind of clearing area that think like a campsite in like a forest that someone was prepared. They leave areas that are still like wild, but there's like cleared areas where camps can be kind of set up.
This could just be a hunting grounds.
Or it could be their idea of a village.
I doubt that.
Maybe we should try to look at the other ones just to make sure that they aren't amassing an army, though. that is what we were sent to verify. And I'd rather be safe than sorry on that front.
These things don't seem to be unintelligent. I think we would have encountered a little bit more resistance before we found that. I think this.
But if this is just the hunting ground,
Yeah. I say we look.
I think we press forward and we look, and we avoid being seen as much as possible.
Which one are you heading towards then?
which one would we know would be the quote-unquote easiest to get to from where we are? Like, with giving everything proper...
North or west, they're generally close to the border of the campsite area, we'll call it.
So north is the one...
What's the general direction that we're heading into the forest to begin with?
You were heading from... When you hit the forest, you headed, like, pretty much northwest, if we're saying, because you headed kind of north from the castle, turned northwest along the trail. So you're kind of...
Let's go north and then west.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Alright, so you'll head for the north camp. Alright, why don't you all give me stealth checks this time? Rufus,
I am going to take the lead.
You can keep the stealth check you had from before, from now.
Okay.
Good! Great!
Red!
Wait, I didn't give myself disadvantage.
Well,
I have to roll again. I have to roll
yeah,
again.
you do.
Well, just
Don't
roll
worry,
again.
I
And
rolled
see.
a
I'm the
nat-
stealthiest.
I rolled a nat 1, so...
Yeah.
No, it was so close.
It was really close to being okay. Yeah.
Alright,
It's
So
okay.
sad. I'm
Don't
so
worry, you're
sad.
still better than
Tim
Red.
is stealthier than the rogue at the moment.
okay.
Oh
You
no.
guys all
no.
gave me shit last time.
Well.
Like, Red's following a little too close and gets, like, a whiff of the booze off of Grits and just has to sneeze.
Alright,
Good booze, though, okay?
I did say I was going ahead.
yes, you did.
Yep.
So, you'll try to give things a wide berth, so you really don't get an idea of what's going on at that site that you're sort of like led by Rufus around. You'll kind of move up through the brush and bush a lot. It's harder than you want. Like, Tim and Grits are like able to kind of notice ways to kind of squeeze through plants. But basically, Nokren and Red are just kind of powering through the underbrush, kind of thing.
I hooked on a tree. Hooked on a tree.
But I
Red,
hooked
help.
on a feeling.
Since Rufus, you're kind of leading the way, why don't you give me perception as you're approaching the northern campsite?
Eyes don't fail me now.
Oh, that's
Oh damn.
Okay.
Oh boy.
This seems to be just a campsite with a series of smaller tents nearby to it, with kind of central tent to the area. So it's kind of like a ring of tents almost. There's a central tent, which is a little larger, and a bunch of smaller tents, kind of half moon, encircling like a little area that seems to have a setup of a number of like stone and wood, maybe benches around a fireplace that is currently not in use.
We don't see any signs of movement currently.
No, he doesn't see any signs of movement.
Are any of the tents closer to where I am?
Probably one, like, it's like, because it's kind of like that half moon shape, probably like one of the corners of the half moon you could probably get to.
I'm going to quietly move up to one.
All right, it's kind of like an open tent. It's got kind of like the side open. You can see all kinds of strange, like, things in here. Like, you can see, like, antlers, and it looks like a couple of pelts. Give me a... Jeez. Roll nature for me. We'll say
Okay.
nature for you.
I did decent nature.
Okay. You're pretty sure the stuff in here is trophies. Like animal kills and stuff. Like
Right.
hunting trophies. That seem to be on display. All kinds of different ones in this tent.
Does it seem to be like a tent that's used for anything else, or does it seem to just be?
It just
like,
seems to be
a
that.
display?
It does seem to center around maybe some kind of little shrine or something, as if the trophies are like dedicated to it.
Okay. How far away is the next tent?
Like next door to it. They're very close together. It is a ring of. It is like a half ring of tents, basically.
And can I see where the flap for the bigger tent is?
They are all open flapped. You can look into pretty much most of them. You don't see or hear anybody around here.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to wave people in.
Are we still stealthing in? I mean, I guess we're still using whatever stealth rolls we have, probably. But
Yes.
Stealth.
Oh no.
Okay.
Mhm.
The big tent. Ooh, where is that exactly? Direct center.
Direct center.
Okay.
I'm gonna head towards the open dude.
Okay. So all the tents seem to be filled with the same kind of thing. It seems to be a lot of trophies, a lot of things. It looks as though, like, from what you can see from the fire area outside, the benches are arranged on an opposite half moon to where the tents are, with like a central seat on the other side, as if someone would sit with the tents behind them and talk to all the others.
I'm gonna make
okay.
a survival check and see if
How
there's
about-
or not.
You could go ahead and roll that one. Go ahead and see
I just
how
want to see how fresh any of the prints might be.
like around the area.
Yeah.
I mean, probably within days.
Okay.
This place is not being used at the moment, but it seems it's still used often.
Can I take a look through? Like, have we gone into the large tent yet in the center?
We've kind of just been looking at them. If you want to like look through them, go ahead.
I want to like look through and see if they've left any like map indications or anything like that
Sure.
that would give us a clue as to what
I'll
we're
help
actually looking at.
So
Is-
I'll help you investigate.
Okay.
Is so? Do you want me to roll normal or
Sure. Go ahead and roll just I guess an investigation you want to do or perception you want to do.
With
investigation? But
With
Did you get an
advantage?
Yeah, with
from
advantage
helping me?
because Nokren's helping.
Sure.
you. Yeah.
and I'm just gonna perceive around.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
so glad I helped you.
Oh, Tim.
You
it was
definitely
the first one.
having investigated it, you get the feeling that like perhaps like everything in here has a story behind it, and more than likely what someone would do here is show off like a trophy or something and tell a story behind it. That's what it looks like.
They have a hunting culture. Okay.
Yes. Though as you're looking through them, you do notice it's not just they pretty much hunt anything. You see signs of maybe humanoids that have been hunted too. Like old weapons and stuff you find in one of the areas.
Are there any usable weapons? Like
I mean,
good
like
ones?
old rusted, like nothing special, you know.
Okay.
Does anything look like it's from our guards?
Yes, there does seem to be like a helmet from one of your guards.
Don't leave Red with these people. He will make friends.
Yeah.
Nokren's actually
Uh,
gonna get out his manticore spine from under his armor and make sure over the armor obvious, hanging from his neck.
You can see, Tim, you will actually find there's quite a few items that might actually be of historic value, though. Like, you can find a number of small instruments, which seem kind of unusual in the central tent, maybe related to their culture, and a couple of strange small artifacts which might hint at some parts of their culture, if you would study them or something. Or
I mean,
have
I'd like to
someone
take a
study-
look at them, but is this something that I'd need to take away from here?
Yes. You'd either have to spend time here or take it away from here. And since you rolled the maximum, you're also pretty sure there's a couple of people in town that might be interested in those if you wanted to either like trade them or sell them too. You know for a fact Mercedes would love little artifacts.
Yeah.
You would also know, because you are an elf, that the prince of the elves, as
Musician.
a bard, would love the strange instruments that they would have here and probably trade you something for them if you really wanted to take them.
I'm hesitant to, because they've clearly set this up as a permanent structure, which means that they would likely notice that they were gone.
Maybe. I mean, if you don't clear the place out.
Take
Yeah.
a few, not everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the only things I'd be interested in taking are the artifacts and new skills.
Okay.
How, like, are they large? Are they small? Are they things that I can easily carry?
They're
in my
probably
pack?
easier things that you could load into a pack.
Okay, then I'll do that, and I'll put them in my pack
Mhm.
specifically so that I can avoid if we all get caught. We can manage to conglomerate that stuff so only one of us looks like a thief to them.
Yep. So now,
Not
Rufus, your perception, I will give you to the southeast is the camp that was to your northwest before. You're pretty sure just by like looking at the kind of angles, mentally you've set that up. But also there is another campsite to the west of you. Okay, no. So yeah, it was to your northwest, now it's to your southwest, and there's a campsite to your west. And you are now kind of curving around the top of this large campsite area. So it looks like
do we
these were...
see smoke rising from any of the areas?
Let me check those two to see if, no, neither of those areas seem to have smoke rising from them.
Do we want to go west again? Because we can always go south from the western camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's true. Back into the brush.
Back into the brush.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I mean-
are we going to be able to get to there from the brush easy?
If you're going straight west, that one, yes.
Okay.
Do we need to stealth?
Sure, roll stealth again if you want to.
I'm so good at this, guys.
Oh, crap.
I told you I'm so good at this.
I have been rolling real well on stealth. Look at Rufus though.
Y'all ready?
Damn
Damn right.
Nokren and
Yeah,
Rufus
right.
are loud once this time.
I
Alright.
held in the sneeze.
So-
I stepped on something.
The thing about this campsite, as you kind of move towards it, you actually notice that it looks as if the brush and the forest itself has actually moved back into this area. This one actually seems to be an abandoned site.
Yeah. Okay.
It,
Abandoned. Why?
It looks as if maybe you're not sure why, but you can see signs that the nearby brush has been begun to be cleared away, as if they're trying to reclaim the site.
Okay. Could I take a look around and see, like, if I can get any real clear idea as to why it was abandoned?
Sure.
Would
I'm
I be
gonna
doing?
follow.
What would I be rolling?
Well, Nokren will help as well.
Investigation should be fine. Actually.
Regular
You wanna
or advantage?
Investigate again, and I'll perceive.
I guess if Nokren is
I'm just along for the
helping
ride
you,
because I'm bad at all of these.
it'll be
Investigation is what I do. I don't do perception.
it'll be advantage if
I
he
need
helps you.
questions.
Okay. Okay. I rolled a 20.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah.
Tantus, just like the look of course.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Of course.
I mean, you'll kind of like look through it and look around, and you don't see any signs of it. Eventually, you'll discover what looks to be a body, kind of like hidden under some of the stuff in the back of the tent. It looks as though it died to some kind of attack. It looks like a savage one. It's very old, like it was probably forgotten here. Something happened. Maybe either... It's hard to tell from the bones. Either a creature attacked, or maybe they got... Like, this one got into a scuffle with another.
I could roll medicine, see if I can figure out anything
It
extra.
would be disadvantaged because it's bones.
I can attempt it at least.
Sure.
Yeah, you may as well, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst that can happen. You touch it and it's a skeleton waiting to wake
That
up.
was
Oh,
not
that's not
bad.
too
Not bad.
yeah.
It looks as though the final blow was to the throat, with some kind of slashing, It's hard to tell if it was a claw or like a blade or something, though.
Are there multiple lacerations or just
You can
one?
only see one on the bone, but it looks like it
Could have been multiple.
It looks as though it was like a very shallow on the bone. So it's like maybe either a sword hit
Could
one
have
across
been,
the neck,
Yeah.
or it, like
multiple claws that one just happened to cut deeper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. With that in mind, knowing that they're trying to reclaim it, it was like, to me, it seems unlikely that this location was abandoned due to a scuffle between two of their own kind. It is more likely that a creature of some kind attacked this place that they felt they couldn't handle, which for a hunting culture is terrifying.
Yeah.
So
Maybe a mantis?
possibly a mantis, possibly something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
No, we've seen everything.
Oh, I hope so. Let's
I'm just gonna turn around and point to the brush and say I don't see a mantis getting through.
Yeah, that's more my issue as well.
But it's overgrown, right? You said it looked like it'd grown back in.
No, the brush is in like the forest brush.
No, the
Yeah.
mantises probably could get through the brush.
Oh really?
They can
Okay,
fly, you
never mind.
know.
They actually don't seem to fly. You've never seen one
They can
fly.
jump though, right? Like theoretically, if we're talking about mantises as mantises are
Yes.
in
And I'm gonna tell you,
That is terrible.
I'm gonna tell you that probably some point in time Rufus saw signs of them here, because guess what? That's another thing
Oh.
that lives in here.
Never mind that. That's terrifying.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nest.
But hold on, no, that's actually a good point. We were considering that. We should consider looking and seeing if there's a nest around.
The forest
with
might
that
be
in mind,
the forest might be the nesting grounds, as far as you know. You don't know that maybe they just hunt, that they go and live and hunt out in the forest.
are there any signs of mantises in the field itself?
In this area? No.
The clearing specifically.
No, you don't see any signs of any.
Okay.
You probably saw some maybe some signs of mantises that were hunted in the trophies, you know, like a big claw, you know, maybe like an old, you know, like carapace head or something, you know, things like that.
Cool. Okay. Well, Rufus, what did you see when you were looking around after we got here?
He didn't see anything else different than your investigation, but he did notice that there are, in fact, there's the campsite that you keep skirting around that's sort of like now it's literally in the middle between the three sites you've visited.
And that's the witch doctor's site, as we're gonna call it for the moment.
Yeah, witch doctor.
Question mark.
Like maybe like trophies and
Yeah.
abandoned. There's a question mark in the middle of that you've kind of skirted around. There are also three other campsites near. Generally speaking, I would quotation say, two are quite close by. One is quite far off to the west, but Rufus rolled well enough that he can see kind of signs of it. One is directly to your southwest from here. The one that is kind of in the middle is to the southeast, of course. And there's kind of one, again, as I said, to the west, and one sort of in between it. To I guess that'd be west-southwest.
Okay.
Any sign of smoke from any of them?
Let me see here.
Not to be a pain in the butt, but trying to make sure we don't just accidentally walk into an active camp.
You can't tell for the one all the way to the west because it's way off to the side, but the other two, you do see signs of smoke.
Okay. Grits, have you been mapping this?
Of course I have.
And
Which is I
you've
haven't
been-
really been doing checks.
Fair
I
enough.
figured I'd be like sketching things out, making notes.
Okay. So we have these camps that we see marked in this clearing right now?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have added it
Basically,
all to the maps as we're going.
you've explored, you've in quotations explored, because you technically didn't go into the one with the witch doctor, but you've seen signs of 8 campsite areas so far.
Okay.
And you're not sure if there's any more after that, though. Because
So there are signs of smoke at the
basi-
two that we...
Yeah, you started effectively
closest.
in the what would have been the southeastern corner of this area, and you've begun circling around.
Yeah.
So
The two
this
that
is
are
a
the
large
closest
area.
have smoke.
yes,
It formatted it again. Fuck. I was trying to make a map on the like campsites and X where we are, but it formats it so I can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So keeping in mind that we really haven't explored the center of this clearing at all. It seems like that's where a lot of the camps likely are, and that's where we've seen smoke so far.
Yeah.
In the center. Perhaps the reason why they don't necessarily camp on the outskirts is because it's not necessarily safe.
Yeah, I don't see us getting towards that center without being spotted.
We could check the further one.
I think we should consider checking the further one first.
Yeah. I agree.
The one that you can't see a lot of, so you're gonna go all the way to the west?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think we should go part way and then see if we can see a little bit better, determine if there's any smoke coming off of it or anything like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Give me some stealth. If you want to roll it again.
Not a 1 this time, please. Not a 1, but not great.
I have been surprisingly stealthy today.
See, I messed up one time. Y'all gave me such a hard time. Now look at my stealth rolls.
Nokren and red.
I'm waiting for knock.
Oh boy.
20.
That's not disadvantage.
Well,
It's okay. It's okay. It's not disadvantage. Just roll with disadvantage.
Okay, roll with disadvantage.
Fuck.
it's the same.
No, it's one
It's
better.
one better.
It's one better.
It is one better.
The worst thing is seeing that first roll stop at 18 and being like, this is my... Nope, it's 3.
Yeah.
All right. The tent does seem to have some kind. It does seem to be like another small camp area. There's a simple tent there, and it does have a fire outside of it. That is lit. Yes.
Okay.
Well, it looks like we found all the abandoned ones already.
As far as our map goes, what direction would we need to go to get to the area that we're supposed to be scouting out? Is this technically the area that we're supposed to be scouting out?
This does seem to be some kind of campsite area.
So this is kind of what
Well,
Malik described to us.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't they mark an area? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the western edge corner of it. It seems to be this campsite here.
So
Which
there's
is,
an eastern.
well, you came from the eastern corner.
Yeah, we looked
Oh,
at the...
okay, that's
eastern
fine.
side.
So, like, my point is, this clearing is what we're meant to be.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it seems to be quite like wide. I would say that maybe like with the total area in between these things, it's maybe like half a mile east to west. Maybe
What
like
about north to south?
maybe a quarter, maybe a little less.
Okay.
With that in mind, we haven't checked the south side, which is the side where the castle is. So if they're mounting an attack, they wouldn't be camping at the north side. They
think
would be
going
camping
on-
at the south side.
Yeah, I think going
Most
around the
likely.
way that we did is good, because they weren't expect us to be coming from that side.
Agreed. It's more just a point of note that we need to consider that
Yeah.
we have seen very little, but what we have seen isn't good.
It also
It's
isn't...
great.
It is also isn't
involve,
horror.
an attack yet.
No.
Hunters not often mass. They
Yeah.
hook.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any
But they
evidence of
do-
it yet.
They do group hunt. We've seen them hunting groups. That ambush that we ran into was a hunting group. They were hunting us, but they were hunting.
Go.
Hunting is different
Gorilla.
than wiping out.
Gorilla.
Guerrilla tactics.
Ah.
Yeah, they tend to ambush.
Yes,
prey.
that's what they sound like.
Yeah, I still don't. Yeah, I don't see evidence of an attack yet.
Not full on,
Yeah.
but it's possible that they are scouting us as much as we are scouting them.
This is
We
very-
could keep looping around towards the south.
I think going around and investigating is a good idea.
I think we need to consider where we can go where there aren't people, but where we can get clear sight on people as much as possible.
Could start killing.
If
No,
we
no,
start
no.
killing, we're alone
gonna
on the
alert
other
everyone.
side of an entire army, potentially. We don't know what we're...
Run fast.
Not all of us are
Kill
that
later.
fast.
Not now.
Yeah, no. Nokren
Haven't
is just
had
gonna
enough
look
beer to run fast.
at his arm.
Yeah.
I look at my stubby legs.
Let's. I mean, do we want to go towards the 1 tent campsite with the fire, or do we want Rufus to scout it out? Maybe.
Probably.
From here, you can see that it looks as if the sort of the west-southwest tents, because you are a little closer to those, seem to have 2 kind of medium-sized tents next to a fire.
Is there a path through where we could avoid
I mean,
any of these camps to get better vision on things that are south without like going too far, but just getting vision more on south?
you could attempt to move through the kind of open areas into some of the like brush area that still is in here, because as I said, they didn't like clear out
They didn't clear
all the
everything
brush.
out, right?
They cleared out a large amount of it, but there are like areas of brush sort of in the middle of like things that you could technically get into.
I mean, that's an option.
Or we can head for the southwest one.
Do we
Check
know
it
what's
out.
happening at the west-southwest one?
We know there's a fire and 2 tents.
That's kind of the direction we need to go. But then we're in between 2 camps.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that.
I think I'd rather go full to the west and continue to scoot around.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, like, if we're gonna go to a camp, I think we should go to the western camp. Even though we know there's a fire and we know there's a single tent, but I think we should have you scout it out, Rufus. If you're okay with that.
I'll do my best. Just
Okay.
be on guard.
You got this, buddy.
I
Okay.
believe in you.
Roll me another round. No, we'll keep. I think the last round of stealth is for this one. Okay. So okay.
And it's just Rufus scouting it out, right?
I
Is that
think
what's
Rufus is
happening?
heading
We're all
ahead.
staying.
We're
Yep.
staying.
Unless you
Yeah.
guys send me with him.
Okay. So Rufus, you're gonna head for the western tent area as the people are kind of lead behind. You just see kind of a simple campfire and tent next to it. This tent does seem to be a little bit more actually able to close off. It does seem to have like flaps that are kind of open, but it is not like all the way open. It's kind of like partially open.
Okay. I'm going to stick to the side of the tent for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
where there is not an opening, and kind of lean in and see if I can hear anything going on.
Is the campfire directly in front of the tent?
Yes.
So can we see shadows in the tent?
From where it's positioned, you're coming from behind the tent.
So then
And
that's
is it
where we
day or
would
night?
theoretically be able to see shadows.
It's always day.
That's what I thought. So shadows would be very hard to see.
Yeah.
And the light's
Not
coming
necessarily
and the
in a tent, 'cause the-
mostly above you.
Oh, you're saying in the tent. I thought you meant outside.
I mean in the tent specifically.
Oh,
Got
no,
it.
it just seems you don't see any kind of shadows coming out of the tent. It just seems dark in there. There doesn't seem to be a light on in the
Okay.
tent.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I was. Okay.
You do hear noises in there, but you don't hear anything else.
Does it sound like speaking, or I can't tell?
You can't tell. It seems like movement, but that's it.
Tim's gonna start signaling to Rufus to see if we should come with him. If we should approach. With that, Tim is gonna tell everyone else to hold by just holding his hand up and then stealth into himself. And then see if he can come and see.
Let's see what your stealth was.
My stealth was a 15.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And I want to see if I can hear as well, because if he's, my assumption as Tim is that if he's not sure if we should be coming, he doesn't know exactly what's happening, so I'm going to be on high alert basically as I approach and see if I can figure out what's going on.
Mhm.
Could I roll a perception as well?
Sure.
Also, when you're closer, I'm going to kind of mime.
Okay, so you hear something but you're not sure what.
Okay. You can kind of hear shuffling also, as if things are moving around. Maybe not in like a whispered word like voice, but maybe like a low voice. You hear some kind of like speaking.
I'm gonna tug on your shirt.
I assume what you
think
mean.
might
Oh, no.
get it.
Like, are you suggesting that, like, can I hear speech, or are you wanting me to cast comprehend languages? Yeah, because the issue
I was
is,
trying to do it as at
Yeah.
character, like,
and Tim wouldn't have gotten it right away. It would have taken him a moment because that's what spells he has. That's why he has the book.
yeah.
And he's gonna like flip through the book, and then I'm gonna. How long is the ritual cast?
10 minutes.
Check
Ritual
a
cast.
Yeah, no,
specific
we're just
thing.
gonna cast it. We're just gonna cast it.
It also
Check a
has a,
specific thing first, yeah.
it also
the-
has a verbal,
Verbal component, that's what I was
So-
saying.
and you're not a
I'm
sorcerer
whispering.
who can do a subtle spell.
Well, I'm whispering, because we'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm keeping alert though.
Okay.
Good luck.
Nice knowing you guys.
Should I roll
Good
perception again to see if I can hear them?
Sure. Okay, you definitely hear in now you're comprehending a language is like, there's something out there. Let's go find out.
I'm gonna wave people to come.
Yep,
Alright.
Oh,
that's
Red
me.
is full fucking
Yeah.
speed as soon as he sees
Yeah.
Okay.
that.
No,
Um,
and
Racing
before they come out of the tent,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
this is maybe
Well, roll
incredibly-
initiative because
Ah.
they're going right into like
Okay.
they heard Rufus and were preparing for something, and then when they
Oh.
heard you, they're like, confirmed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, God! Wait, no,
Damn
that's not me. Yeah, okay.
Finish.
I will take that 20.
All right, so let me roll for
Not bad.
them.
Hey.
That
Where's
sucks.
my initiative tracker?
Good. Because you guys aren't that close.
Nokren is
I started
right there,
sprinting.
apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we started sprinting the second you waved to. Like,
Yep. So you guys weren't too far away, so you can move in. Okay. let me
Unfortunately,
roll
I'm there, and I
initiative
guess I didn't
for
notice
that.
him waving right away.
No, probably not. You were right beside me, and I was waving with my right hand.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. They
my
rolled
God.
awful.
They tripped over their.
Nokren, what do you want to do? You're like 30 feet away from the back of the tent.
Okay, I am gonna rush. Yeah, I'm gonna rush right up to the back of the tent,
Mhm.
and I mean, I guess I wouldn't know if there's anything on the side of the side of it. Fuck, I'm just gonna greatsword in.
Okay.
Rip. What do I see?
All right. So you'll slice into it. You'll see what appears to be some kind of sleeping tent for a large number of
Shit.
creatures. Inside,
Oh,
you
shit,
see
yes.
over towards the front of it, you see 3 adolescent savage ones, weapons drawn, like turning around now as you've kind of burst into where they're living.
Oh,
You're
Kill
gonna
the children.
How many large number of people? Is this tent?
Maybe 20
Shit.
at most.
Okay.
Even the young ones.
Okay.
Oh no.
I don't want to do this.
Grits?
Oh.
I mean, to Red, they probably are about.
The same.
They're-
They're
age.
teenagers. I mean, they're
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yeah.
I know,
Red-
but still.
For king and country.
Red is like 15.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. He's also an
Yeah.
adolescent.
They're Red's contemporaries. Is the word you were looking for.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna look at them and go, ching. Try and get their attention.
I mean, you got their attention when you tore into the tent.
Oh yeah, I mean they probably
You tore
noticed,
into the
but
tent.
I'm essentially assuming a battle posture as if like,
Grits.
come on, come get me, sort of
So, how many are inside there? Now that
3.
we can see in?
There's
3?
a lot of camps.
Three?
There's a lot of area for them to sleep in
thing.
there, but
Three
only
at the moment.
there's 3 at the moment.
Okay.
All
What
right,
I'm
I'm
worried
gonna
about
run
is that
up.
there's got to be more.
I don't have good chances at doing this, but I'm going to see that they're adolescents. and I'm gonna run up and basically try to grapple one.
Okay.
To just grab it. So it's a strength check.
Yes.
Like, right? Contending strength checks. Or do I get to, can I use dex?
I would have to check that. Give me a second here because
Yeah, I'll pull it up
I
too.
do not use a lot of the grappling rules in 5th edition.
They're much better than the old ones.
I know. They simplified it, which is wonderful.
I think it's just like opposing checks.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, but I
simple
think I can use dex. Or I think I have to use strength, but they can use dex or...
You can make a strength athletics, and they're contested by the target strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics. So
Yeah.
you have to do
Yeah,
strength
athletics isn't great. So we'll
I
see.
could try and grapple one. I have proficiency in it.
Oh, not terrible.
Not bad.
Yes, hold them still for Red.
Okay.
No, it's not to hold. No.
Let me see what they are going to roll. It would literally be the same for both strength and dex. So I'm just gonna roll a d20. No, you have one grapple.
All right,
You
so
come
yep,
from
I have one grappled.
that speed,
How much
right?
of my movement would I have used to get up there?
What's your speed?
Currently 35.
All of it.
Okay, then that's all I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tim, what are you doing? You're like at the back of the tent, and Nokren just opened up the back of the tent.
Yeah. Just understand it, by the way.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. I am going to, first of all, cast me. You said there are 3, correct?
Yes, 3.
Where are they? One is grappled by Grits right now.
Yeah.
2 are.
They were all
Beside,
sort of.
like-
They were right beside him.
They're clustered.
Yeah, they were
Okay.
kind of like moving towards the front of the tent to like move out around. That would have probably been their move this turn. Moving around to the back of the tent.
Right.
Not
Okay.
anymore.
No.
Well,
How many
I
people are
suppose.
around me right now, not including them? How many allies? Rufus,
Not-
Nokren, and Grits.
Grits is in the tent, so she's a little farther away, but you're probably adjacent to Rufus and Nokren.
Okay. How far away are they from me?
I'd say like, we'll say like 20 feet.
20 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty decent sized tent. It's just there's a lot of sites clustered in there as if they're all kind of shoved in there, kind of thing. You know, like they're assuming they can get all close and not private at this time.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do something new.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Scorching Ray on
The first one was a crit.
on that one. By the way, is on the one that's closest to me. Whoever's closest to me is getting that one.
Okay. Burns a whole bunch is still alive, but
Well-
let me roll this here. That's, I think, a failure anyway. Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Why?
Okay.
Why
'Cause-
roll for failure?
For its thing.
Rage.
for hulking out.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it certainly failed.
Fuck.
It's very unhappy now.
Okay. Well, it's about to hopefully get hit again
Yes.
for much less damage this time.
Yeah.
And you know what? The
I
last
mean-
one will also go for that one just for simplicity's sake. Well,
Oh, God.
All right. So you see, like, never mind it going angry. You just like all of a sudden you just blast out 3 bolts as it's kind of like turning around as the 3 bolts blast into it. It like kind of flies back a little bit, kind of flying out the front of the tent, kind of falling on its back, just not moving anymore.
good.
Okay. Well, okay.
Since I haven't moved, Tim is actually going to back behind Nokren now as far as possible.
Okay.
I'm taking my movement to move as far as possible away from them because I just made myself a real
Well, this
target.
could give you a little bit of like a holy fuck look.
Rufus, what are you doing?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I thought.
Yeah, you're next.
Oh, I'm not last.
You're
No,
not
you're not.
last.
No,
Red
you're
is
not
last.
They rolled a 1, so no.
True. Yeah.
I am going to take my hide action
Okay.
behind Nokren.
Yeah. We know what's up. Ooh. Will a 23 hide?
Okay.
He's now one of the sets of armor on my back.
Let me just check here.
Oh my god, that was actually pretty
That was a
decent.
really good roll.
Okay.
On
I
your part.
just
Let's-
had the image of a small Joe, like, in only the upper part like this,
Oh man.
hanging there.
Did I get a Sharpo sneak on the one?
Sure. Which one are you attacking?
Woo.
The non-grappled one.
The one that's not grappled.
Okay.
Good choice.
Good choice.
You okay? You'll hit.
That's so many dice.
Okay.
He's holding it.
Hold, your sneak attack has your dex modifier, by the way.
It
It's
should.
not supposed to. No, the sneak attack part
Oh,
hit your
shoot.
dex.
So that's 3
Wow.
less damage.
So it's 3 less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Still really good. That's still 11 damage. To that.
Yes.
Yeah. Still 11 damage. Still pretty good.
I just like to look at the dice, and I saw that.
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Red. You're up.
Are any of them within range of me?
I mean,
There we go. It's edited.
yeah. What's your speed?
Currently 30.
Then technically no.
Can I postpone my turn until after them so they'll get a little
I
closer?
mean, the Grits is up next to the one grappling it, so probably that one might help out its friend. Logically speaking.
Dash.
Then I won't be able to attack.
I know.
But you'll be there for next turn.
If they're alive next turn.
Or I could just run 30 feet, throw a javelin next turn. Move
Oh yeah,
30
you do
more
have
feet,
range weapons.
You could,
and
yeah,
attack.
you just run up and javelin.
Fine. I just love the image of Red just charging at them, though.
Mhm.
I just.
And then
I don't like the image of him just running and then going, "Heh, ha."
He's running with the javelin and uses momentum.
All right,
to-
I'm more
to
into it
hurl
now.
the javelin.
Yeah.
I'm more into it now. I got this, yeah.
To be fair, even when you dash in this game, 60 feet in 6 seconds is like 5 miles per hour. You're not even really jogging,
No, I know.
Yeah.
which kind of
Um,
sucks, but yeah.
I'm just seeing these 3 adolescent
Javelin.
creatures. One of them gets incinerated. A javelin impales the other one.
Well, we'll see
Maybe.
if it
I
Maybe
don't
not.
roll so well.
An
No,
arrow
no.
impaled one
The
of them.
javelin will go flying by it. It'll dodge out of the way. So they will go.
Useless.
The one that Grits is holding on to, it's just gonna stab Grits because it can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's,
What's
yeah.
your
Does it
AC?
have to attack with disadvantage, though?
No.
AC is 14. It shouldn't be at. I don't believe it is at disadvantage. I'll double check.
No, it just is restrained.
Mm.
Basically,
Yeah.
it reduces
It doesn't
speed to
do
0.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It can't run around with her.
It will miss you if your AC is 14. So it'll short sword at you
Yeah.
and miss.
Wow.
The other one
I'm
could
being
help
gentle.
its friend, but he just got shot by a tiny man. So it's gonna run up and stab the tiny man, probably.
I'm behind Nokren.
I mean, it will move up to Nokren and slightly move around Nokren, who has just cut things down, and stab the tiny thing, which hurt it a lot.
Even being raged.
Oh, he's raged. Oh, then yeah. Actually, let me roll something here then. Okay. It's gonna hit his friend.
What?
It'll do 8 damage to the other one.
Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Which then rages, though.
These are Red's people.
Actually, yeah. Now we
Yeah.
find out if he rages.
Great.
That would be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
It did 2 extra damage because it's under effective of rage. I have to remember that. Yep.
Awesome, guys.
So
Yeah.
where are the rest?
I like how you wanted to like be gentle.
There
to
was
this
only
thing.
3.
There's only
One is
3. Oh yeah,
dead.
where are the rest in
No, no,
general?
no.
Because there's
No,
a
no,
lot
yeah.
of places.
Big
Oh.
tent full of beds. Only 3 here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Rest would
maybe
be
they're
on
at,
hunting.
It
or
looks
at other
exactly.
camps.
Yeah, it does look as though perhaps these 3 were resting in here, and maybe not sleeping per se, and they heard Rufus come up.
Well,
Great.
Nokren, what are you
Okay.
gonna do?
I'm gonna run up to the one that's not grappled, and I'm gonna smash it in the face.
Okay.
I think you're all specified
Hoping
that's
they
not
pop it in the
grappled.
head.
You will hit. You'll
Just
get,
like run up. Hi.
you'll get some
Shank.
damage into it. Again,
That's
like
all
its
I'm gonna
its
do
its
this time.
anger seems to be blocking some of the damage.
It has. Well, that is a magical weapon.
Does that get
No,
through
they-
normal barbarian, like just
I don't
straight
think so. I think
resistance?
it's still slashing damage.
Yeah,
It's still halved, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Grits, you got a guy
Alright.
held.
So
No,
where is
Who's
everybody?
raging?
Magical weapons, they
Ignore
count as
the-
magic as part to get around resistances
Oh,
rather
yeah.
than direct slashing.
Yeah.
Let
They-
me see.
And barbarians don't get resistance to magic.
I will,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Even
How-
bear.
so how
doesn't
close is
get
the
it,
other guy
I'm
to
pretty
me?
sure.
The one that I'm obviously not grappling, because I know the one I'm grappling is in my arms.
He's very close to you.
Yes, he's very close to you. He's
Yeah.
attacking it.
Well, the other one is still very close to you because he just stabbed his friend in the face.
Yeah.
True.
All right, I will go ahead and
Just run
So
away and let
I'm-
them fight each other.
Oh, are they both? They're both raged.
I don't. They are
They are
both
both
ready.
raged,
Yeah.
yeah. They're both looking very angry.
No matter the source of the damage.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and short sword the one that I'm grappling. Just start trying to stab at him, because maybe I can get one of them down and then re-grapple the other one or something.
Okay, it specifically would have to say bludgeoning damage from a non-magical attack. It has to mention if it's magical or not.
Yeah, Jeremy Crawford tweeted saying that rage does protect against the types of damage regardless of what did them, including magical weapons.
Oh, okay.
There are certain things that list like bludgeoning except by magic weapons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So short sword.
Oh.
You will miss.
I hit his buddy. No.
You
and
hit
then
me.
You
while I'm,
sniped him
I'm like
instead.
standing on the other side.
yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'll use a key point to unarmored strike twice.
Okay.
Punch.
Okay. And...
Punch.
Kick punches to him.
Wow. that punch.
So one punch will actually make contact then.
Okay. I can guess which one.
Yes.
I will. Also, do I still have him grappled then, right? Or do I have to make another?
Let
Is
me-
it
You
an
have.
action?
It's an action to maintain.
That's what I
correct?
thought. Okay.
So you basically decided to break the grapple and just attack it.
Yeah, and just go after him. All right, then I also currently I am in the disengage action as well, so I can technically step away,
And you're fast.
and I have 45 feet of movement.
Okay.
Wow.
So I fly away from it like, oh god, they're crazy now.
Someone- Oh,
I
okay.
imagine what you do is you do a punch and then you just go, just start running backwards.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. Tim.
Okay, so do either of them look hurt? Like,
I
decently
mean,
hurt?
they're injured.
Yeah, not like scary hurt.
I
And
would
I'm
say-
pretty far away now.
I would say they
so-
they would be bloody. You've basically reduced them both to half hit points.
Okay, I'm gonna move
At
up a little
least.
bit.
not-
Again, so I'm in range to use. Well, I mean, this actually, you know what? I'm not gonna move at all. I'm gonna stay really far away from them,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna do a different thing.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna cast magic missile
Mhm.
on the one that Grits was not grappling.
Okay. The one that
pew,
crits is
pew.
not grappling, which is that one.
Yeah.
All right. So 3 missiles fly out, hit into him. As he kind of like, it seems like he kind of you look at his face, it's like he like seems to actually like for a second recognize his friend and start turning towards like the rest of you guys, like he's like almost controlling his rage a little bit, and then the missiles hit him and he's like ah, and falls over.
Good.
Good.
So he's dead
Good
as
job.
well.
Yes.
So we got one more. Cool.
Rufus.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the bow, and I'm going to risk running up and trying to rapier his crotch.
Okay.
Oh.
No. Red.
That'll be
Uh,
good damage.
Red got pissed that he missed a javelin,
Mm-hmm.
so rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he full on just charges at the last one and tries to hit him with the great axe.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
I forgot to roll with advantage. I'm just
I
gonna roll
don't
another
think it
d20.
matters.
It might if I get a crit.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. But
Okay.
it works.
So you'll hit. You will do 8 slashing, 9 necrotic. So you'll kind of slash into its chest, as like it was kind of like trying to probably turn towards you a little bit. As then like it kind of like looks down at its chest for a second, and it kind of looks back at you and just kind of slumps back.
Aw.
If
Okay.
anyone's paying attention, the area where it hit like started to decay a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tim is too far away to see that.
I got the fly. Sorry.
He could see that you killed it, but he couldn't see like the necrotic damage stuff
I
happening.
got the fly.
All right, they are all
okay.
dead. Congratulations.
Okay. Rockman's gonna look at the hole in the tent, look at the bodies, look at the blood, and go. Okay, I have an idea. Now, can I use my survival to try and make it look like the tent was ripped open more barbarically, more like a creature did it, and then look like the blood drags out through the hole?
We need to mutilate bodies. 2 of them
Yeah,
died from magic.
I mean, that's something that can be a part of this. I'm not sure
I
if
understand.
I want to do that.
I understand anyone's hesitation with that, but if we want to hide this,
Let me figure out what check it would be to stage a murder by a beast.
no, hold on. No,
Okay.
stage a death by animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
First, roll me a nature check. Whoever's doing
I'll
it.
assist you.
Okay,
I'm gonna,
good. I will do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what's your nature?
+5.
Probably higher.
Okay, I'm assisting you.
Okay.
So Red snaps out of his rage, looks down at the body, looks happy, grabs Tim and shows him.
Oh my god.
All right then.
That was with advantage.
Oh my god.
A 1 and a
Holy
2.
shit.
So then I want you, Rufus, to roll me a deception with disadvantage.
Great.
Good luck.
Well, at least I have decent with deception.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Alright.
Wow.
we're gonna start. I'm
You
gonna
only
start
need
hacking
one.
Okay.
You only need one.
I'm gonna start hacking at the back of the tent, like to make it look like it's ripped
Yep.
open more.
Also, roll me with disadvantage a survival, Rufus, and we'll figure out then the full result of this.
Unless
Oh my
someone's
goodness.
helping me to balance it out.
What is
No.
it?
I would be happy.
I am not
No.
giving
No.
with the
Okay.
nature check how bad
With
it
the nature
was.
check,
I am
yeah.
not.
Oh, that's not too bad.
All right then.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay. You will be
With
un-
advantage. Rolls a 7. With
You-
disadvantage, 1917.
what is this?
I don't know.
This is D&D, guys. This is how it works.
This is exactly how.
Like,
I can add a medicine in there if you like.
Don't
No.
offer things.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
necessarily need a medicine at this point in time. I would
Okay.
say.
Jeez.
Okay. The actual result I have in mind, but what that result is, you will not know until someone encounters it. But for now, you've staged it to look as if some kind of animal attacked and they failed to fend it off.
grab your javelin.
Yes, we will have our break then. Sorry, we were finishing this. Why
Grab
don't we
your
take?
javelin.
While you're doing this, why don't we have our break as they clean up
think
the
that's a good
campsite and make it look like animal attack?
Murder, or rather, not murder.
Not murder.
Animal
Not
murder.
murder.
Animal
Like-
murder.
Even though Nokren suggested this, he will be happy to work on the tent and like the scrapes on the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
But he will avoid the area where I assume someone is
Probably
dead
Red.
bodies.
Probably Red's messing up his corpses.
Yeah, it's either going to be Red or Rufus, or maybe Tim, because Tim would actually be
assist.
perfectly fine doing it. So.
Oh, okay.
I will totally assist. I actually will pull out the assassin's dagger I have.
Oh.
While you guys are doing that, Grits will keep a lookout.
And,
Yeah, that's fair, that's
Tim is
fair.
gonna pat Red on the shoulder and say, "Well done." In order.
All right, so we'll take our break, grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the bathroom. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll see
I
you
have
in a second.
fresh made brownies.
Why have you ruined my
Hold on,
snacks?
hold
for
on.
me?
Do you have like ice cream as well?
Probably. I always have ice cream in the house.
Anyway, see you
Not a
guys in a
monster
second.
now, so I
We'll stop
can't
being a
hear them.
monster to everybody.
Ah!
Bye for a second.